So I love the Quaker view because that's what you represent, that Marjorie is fundamentally in the forefront there. I see Marjorie and Ogden as part of the foundation, part of the support for Peace House. But on the working level, it was John Stommer's dream. I fed sticks into the fire of his dream, and so did a lot of other people. And the main people who were working on the nuclear free zone issue were Don Skinner. He was the forefront person on that, and he ended up writing a handbook on how to make your city a nuclear free zone that was promulgated all around the country. And there were a lot of people involved, but Maryland, after John, so we started anyway with just John with his dream of a building for Peace House that was a peace house that housed all kinds of things. But the mission of Peace House was nonviolent education and action. And because of the heat around the nuclear issue, there was a lot of action. And Litton Industries in Grants Pass was a focus because they made a trigger, part of the trigger for nuclear missiles. So that was one of our first targets. But anyway, we had that office up, as I said before, on the corner of 2nd Street, in the little upstairs office. And John was the director and I was the assistant. And we started compiling lists of people and doing things, doing actions. And then the first big thing was, I mean, there were, I don't know, there were probably lots of things. After John left, Marilyn Lenahan took over. I don't know who was director, and Marilyn was a wonderful director. She had been the first director of the health clinic that is now a really big clinic. We did 2 walks from Ashland to Litton Industries, staying at that place off Blackwell Road, and we stayed at a church in Central Point, Santa Rita. St. Rita's. Santa Rita's where I spent time in jail. in Contra Costa County. Many times. Anyway, we stayed in a church in Central Point, and then we stayed at St. Rita's, and then we ended up going along the Rogue River to Grants Pass, a 3-day walk. There are people, lots of people who surface from time to time who remember that walk or say, oh, that's where I first met you. We had this huge circle in Riverside Park, and then we walked there. The reason I know that it was the second time that we did civil disobedience was that we did weekly vigils where we pamphleted and talked to people outside of Litton Industries, because that's the way you do a Gandhian campaign. You don't just show up one day. You go and you talk to the people, you let them know you're concerned about what they're doing, you ask them to quit being part of the nuclear industry, and gradually you let them know, we're going to come here and ask you, we're going to sit down in your parking lot and ask to speak to the people who run it. So that was a campaign, it was a focused campaign. And then a group of us sat in the parking lot and did civil disobedience. And I don't remember what year that was, 83, 84?
Would have been 84.
83.
83 was the
83,
first
because then we went up and did the nuclear train up in Vancouver and Portland. We did lots of actions. I took a group of women down to Lawrence Livermore Lab, and Peace House had already started at that time. So we were very active. Dan and Jen Wessler were very important people on the board at that time. And then when Marilyn died, Kevin Preister, I want to mention Kevin,
yeah.
Because Kevin had the idea, he was the originator of Uncle Food's Diner. That was Kevin. I thought, what a wild idea. And here it is, it's still happening. So after Kevin, was it you, Ellen? And
no, Kevin was after us.
He was after
It was actually my memory.
Oh, wonderful.